Hi, and we're live. Welcome to the Come Cook With Me show. My name is Laura Hall, and if this is the first time that you've joined me in my kitchen, I just want to say welcome. And if you've been following along in my kitchen, you know that this is the new digs, and we're really excited that you've come to join us. And if you're following me and you're following every Friday that we come live to you, I just so appreciate you all. So, with that said, the last 2 weeks we had a bye. I was at In-State to Create, which was just an incredible opportunity. And I can talk more about that at another time. And then last week I had a little bit of a certification going on just for my coaching and my lifestyle coaching, and just thank you for your grace. I'm so thankful that I heard from a lot of you saying, are you cooking this week? Are we live this week? So yeah, we're live. So if this is the first time you're joining us in our community, what we'd love to do is we'd love to say hello, who we are, and where we're from. So if you don't mind doing that right now, get that off the charts so that you can say hello, who you are, where you're from. And when you do that, you'll get a chance to win the Dan of Spices. So we do a random drawing for that. As a matter of fact, I realized I don't have that sticky note. I'm going to have to find it. I'll announce it in the comment section. So at any rate, just say hello, who you are, where you're from, because we all get to know each other in this community. So we just love to hear from you. Also, there's a little button that's on your Facebook page, so if you're watching on Facebook, and it says share. So if you share this video, see that MEALTHY Multipot over there? Well, that's one of the things that we love to do, is we love to give and share the joy of cooking with other people who are watching the show and sharing the show, so that we just increase our viewership, increase just a healthy community, all the people who are looking forward to getting healthy. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and get started cooking. We have, since we have the MEALTHY pot, the people at MEALTHY have been just so generous. They are giving us a big discount. They sent me one to try, and I'm just falling in love with it. And since I have been cooking with the Instant Pot for well over a year now, we're almost, in April will be 2 years that our show will be in season. It'll be our 2-year anniversary. But at any rate, we have been cooking with the Instant Pot, or the pressure cooker, is what we actually started with, and graduated to Instant Pot. And then we have now a MEALTHY pot, and we also have the slow cooker. So when I was growing up, the slow cooker, when my kids were growing up, I should say, the slow cooker was the gadget to have in your house. And so that's just, I would prep the meal, actually go on my run in the morning with the girls that I used to teach with, and we'd all talk about what recipes we're going to be cooking. And then we'd go home, finish our run, put the crock pot together, off we went to school, taught, came home, the kids did their homework, and then we had a great meal. So what I love about the crock pot is that that's just what we knew. But now with the science behind the fast pressure cooker, it's just amazing. So now we're just enhancing our show, because I have so many people who follow my recipes, and they say, well, it would be great if you could make those recipes vegetarian, because there's so many people who are going plant-based, vegetarian, vegan. And so what I've done is I've created an opportunity now that we can always have a vegetarian style preparation for whatever recipe that I've created, as well as one that has a meat option. That is, if it's an actual meat choice. So let's go ahead and get started cooking. I'm going to get my glasses on. And what we want to do is hit the saute button on your pots. So hit saute, and saute here, start, and this one's a diet, so I just need to get this, saute, start. Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of avocado oil in the bottom. I like this particular brand. It's Chosen Foods. I like it because it's non-GMO. It's cold pressed. There's a one that's not cold pressed, but I prefer the cold pressed just because the flavor is just a little bit better, in my opinion. So it's Chosen Foods. It's just, we're just going to coat the bottom of our pots, And if you have the same style crock pot that I have, it has a saute feature. If you don't and you have an old school crock pot, that's fine. But mine actually has a saute feature. So everything that I'm doing here in these pots, in the pressure cooker pots, I will have already done over here in the crock pot. This one is getting very close to being finished. I put it on, it cooked on high for 3 hours, and then it's going to be for 2 hours. It'll be on low and slow. But don't worry, the recipe, even though it's not in the post yet, it will be in the post as soon as we finish and I hit send to Facebook, to the internet, and I'll come back and actually post the recipe. So everything that we'll be talking about today will be in your recipe. So let's go ahead and get started with, these are getting nice and warm. And we're gonna start off with the garlic. What I do when I typically create a recipe, I love to roast garlic. The garlic, you know, fresh garlic can have a really intense bite to it, but when you roast it in olive oil or avocado oil, your oil of your choice, it just comes out so beautifully smoky and robust. I mean, it just, if you could smell it, it just smells so wonderful. So I have about 20 cloves because we love garlic. But in the recipe I talk about that you can use 8 to 20 garlic cloves, and they've been chopped. So we're going to go ahead and just go ahead and put those in the bottom of our pan. Get those started. I was having technical difficulties, so I apologize for getting on a little later than I had anticipated. My Mevo camera, I had changed some of the internet settings in my home, and the Mevo hadn't been updated to it. So it just took me, I was like, okay, that's right, that's how we have to do that. So now, the left side is going to be strictly the vegetarian. So on the right-hand side, I have, for the non-vegetarian family, I have 2 celery stalks and 2 full sweet onion, all organic diced onions. So we're going to go ahead and put those in. And then for the vegetarian style, I have a few more celery stalks. There's probably 5 in here, and I have 2.5 onions. And so what we want to do is saute these until they get a little bit of translucency. There is one thing that I am going to look forward to, and I'm sure technology will really happen for us, where we're going to be able to have smell-o-vision, because right away, when you put that garlic in that olive oil, it smells just heavenly. All right, so for traditionally, when I have made this recipe before, and we actually have a YouTube out there with the old style, I've really changed the recipe around a lot, so I felt that it was worthwhile redoing this one. But for the vegetarian, just for the vegetarian chili, we are adding, and I'm just going to have to say this, my husband walked in, we are adding carrots just to the vegetarian. He's like, Laura, we cannot have carrots in chili. So he's one of those proponents about no carrots in chili. And okay, I get that. But as a vegetarian, if you want to have those carrots, I recommend putting them in. All right. So I'm going to keep getting that nice and sauteed. Beautiful. Okay. So the next ingredient that we're going to be putting in is I have 2 jalapeno peppers plus 3 serrano peppers that are nice and diced. They're already chopped up and diced in here. Each one of them has the same amount. You can go with less peppers because this tend to really give this chili a nice kick. I love the serrano because they're really nice and hot. And I was cooking up a storm when we were at In-State to create, and I know there are a few of you out there that are watching that absolutely love the ghost peppers, so we don't have any of those for this recipe. But we did enjoy cooking with them, and so thank you, Annette, for bringing those in. Beautiful. This is just so perfect. It's just about ready to where we want to have it. Okay. So what I'll talk about next, the next ingredient, is the beans. Your chili, everything is all about the beans in a chili, and a really good chili. So it's about the chilies that you use, it's also the spices, but the beans. So what I have here is I pre-did these beans because I always cook from a dry bean. One, I think that they're better for you, they're cheaper, but they actually taste, I think, a lot better than a can-bought bean. So in this particular pot, I did a full pot of about 2.5 pounds of these beans. I have these Bob's Red Mill. What I love about these beans, they're heritage beans. So they're not quite the white bean like I have over here, this Iberia, the Great Northern beans. Really, it's a choice, but I really love the flavor of Bob's Red Mill. I love his story of his company. It's a family-run company, and then he did an employee stock ownership, and now he gives so much back to society, and he's pretty much, giving the company away, and he really treats his community well. It's just a really great story for a great company. So, but if you really know a little bit about his history, is he really has researched all of his products to make sure that they're single source, organic. I mean, he really goes to great lengths. This company goes to great lengths to making sure that they have great product. So those are the beans I'm going to be putting in. I'm going to put a little dry bean in too. So I want you to know the way I have this recipe set up. You're going to be cooking it for 40 minutes. So if you go straight from a dry bean, it's going to work beautifully in this particular recipe. So we're going to go ahead and turn off, hit the cancel button on the sauteing because it's ready to go. And the next ingredient that we're going to go ahead and put in is we're going to put in some oven fire roasted diced tomatoes. Muir Glen is the product that I like the most, so I want to show you why. It's organic. Again, everything we do when we're cooking, we really should strive to have organic in our body because the fewer toxins, the better. But this is certified organic, also non-GMO. That's a really important thing. So GMOs are genetically modified foods, and we really don't want to have GMOs in our cooking. So strive to find that. And so I'll empty this can out and show you the next best thing about this particular brand that I love. And you should be thoughtful of that as well. And that is this symbol here, non-PBA. And I don't have anybody that can get a close-up of it, but it says non-PBA. So PBA is bisphenol A. And bisphenol A is it's a plastic liner that manufacturers used to put on the inside of their cans. Well, a lot of them still do. So you want to find canned goods that have non-PBA lining because, well, actually they use it for extending the shelf life of those products, and it's an endocrine disruptor. There's so much research on bisphenol A. You just don't want to have that going into our body. We're already surrounded enough with toxins, and as you know, if you have ever watched a video of mine before, I'm crazy about cleansing toxins out of our body, doing cellular cleansing, and so that's really one of those essential things. We don't need to put more chemicals in our body. We're already surrounded enough with overloading our bodies with toxins. So this is all nice and cooled off a little bit for us to go ahead and add the rest of the ingredients. It's so easy. This recipe is so phenomenally easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with adding one of our broths. And so for the vegetarian broth, we're going to be using this Pacific vegetable low sodium broth. If you have a particular one that you love that's in where you shop, by all means, what you want to look for is organic. What you want to also look for is no additional sodium, and no MSG. So make sure you look for those key things when you're buying your broth. I like the Pacific brand because, well, I think their flavors are fantastic, and they just do a great job at making sure that they use pure, clean ingredients, organic. They certify their products, so I just love that about them. Okay, so we're going to start with 1. We'll probably use 1.5 for sure in the vegetarian one because we still need to add our beans. And I'm going to go ahead and add, I'm sorry, for the non-vegetarian, we're using organic bone broth. And I'm using the chicken unsalted. A lot of times, I actually have a friend who's sick, so if he's watching, this is a really good product for you to have. Put some hot red pepper, chilies in it, and just sip on it. Maybe if you can even tolerate it, have a little bit of spinach in it, and just make you feel so good. All right, so put that on. I'm going to stir this around just to see what I have as far as space. Perfect. This is such a beautiful and simple recipe. You absolutely will love it. So I'm going to divide these in half, and then I'm going to add some dry bean to the pots as well. So. The heritage beans are just, they're pink when you buy them. They're a little pink in their color, but they come kind of cook opaque and a little bit of like a red tint to them. So if you're the kind of person who likes to have, just the white beans and the chicken chili, by all means, do whatever you prefer. But I just do love those beans in particular. All right, so the last thing I need to add to this pot before I put in those dry beans is the chicken. So what I did is I use either a really great organic chicken, free range, no antibiotics. That's one of the important things that I look for in my chicken. But I actually found at Sam's, of all places, they had that kind of free range organic chicken, and they had it in tenders. So this is going to be great because they're gonna cook up really quick, and they'll almost kind of shred themselves in this recipe. And I have I have 2 pounds of chicken breast in there. Okay, just rinse my hands real quick. Okay, beautiful. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and let me get a different spoon for that. This is great. All right, it's time to add our spices. Just cover those chickens, get those down in there. We're going to add our spices. We probably will not add any more liquid. This looks like it's just going to be perfect. Before we add the spices, I do want to add 2 more ingredients, and that is a cup of lentils. And I love to use the Bob red lentils. So I'm going to put a cup in each of these. All right, and we're going to also put in some quinoa. And again, I use Bob's Red Mill. Again, it's an organic. As long as you're finding an organic, I like to use a gluten-free quinoa. It's just so good. And it's very important in the vegetarian recipe, because you really want to have as much protein that you can get into this particular recipe. So it's perfect. I'm going to go with 3/4 of a cup since that pot's getting really full. All right, so let's say you don't have those homemade diced or fresh from the grocery store chilies. So what I wanted to show you is that you can actually buy some of these chilies, and this is just something I found at Publix. This brand is Hatch, and they're diced green chilies. They're no GMO, and they're in a bisphenol non-BPA lining can. I love that. So if you can't have the time, or you don't want to do dry beans, you can always get the Canelli white kidney beans. And they have, Eating Organic has them in Great Northern or the white kidney, whichever one you prefer. But I just wanted to show you that there are multiple options. All right, so now we can put in our wonderful spices, the additional spices that we're going to start with. So you'll watch as I add these spices, and I don't measure. I pretty much know how much and what it is that I'm putting in, so I'm not terribly worried, and I definitely want to add some more liquid to this one. But in the recipe, I actually call for recommendations. If you like things a little bit less spicy, you can do less than a tablespoon and a half. And if you like things relatively spicy like we do in our family, then you'll just follow what I put in the recipe recommendations. All right, so the first spice that we're going to add is cumin. And I love, love, love cumin in a chili. I think it's just one of those wonderful, I love cumin in just about everything. So, all right, next one is oregano. Oh, and let me show you. I, again, pretty much stick around with McCormick Gourmet Organic because they do non-GMO. So they're organic and non-GMO, which I love. Okay, and then we have ground coriander. Oh, it smells heavenly in this kitchen. And I'll show you the finished slow cooker so you can see it. This recipe is just great for either one. So then the next seasoning we're going to use is sriracha. Followed by one of my favorite new finds of last year, which is the Japanese 7 spice. I love it because they add some orange peel into it, a few other citrus things. It's just really, really, really yummy. And then we have a cayenne pepper. We are making chili, so this is going to be so great. I heard from a few of you saying it's getting cold where we live, so it's really great that you're starting to think about us where we're getting cold. Then we have some smoked paprika. So I know for those of you who are, it's getting cold. It was even cool here this morning in Daphne, Alabama. It was, I think, in the 60s. It was very, very, very cool, unusual weather. And then we have some ancho chili. Ooh. Okay. And then we have some chili powder. I'm going to put a little less of the chili powder in there because that ancho chili went a little hot more than I normally would have done. But that's okay. We'll love that. All right. And the last two spices are the spices that a teammate of mine came up with. So on my health and wellness team, a person by the name of Dan Oliver, he came up with these Dano spices. And so I love to support my teammates in anything that they are doing. And actually, I don't even need to support him because these are outstanding. So remember when you say hello, who you are, where you're from, well, you get entered to win a set of Dano spices. Not the great big industrial sizes, but you get a chance to win the smaller ones that you can have at your table or at the grill. But what I love about them, again, these are organic, they know no MSG, he uses all his own ingredients, they're low sodium, they just have such a big flavor, and they're 0 calories. So this is more savory. This is one that I tend to put on a lot of vegetables, and then this is one that I love to put on meats when I'm cooking meat. But they're just so good. They go into everything. They're just so full of flavor. So all of you who have won Dano spices before, why don't you chime in and say how great they are, so other people can say, oh, maybe I want to say hello who I am and where I am from. But no, he just makes an incredible spice. Just love them. Love, love, love them. Thank you, Dano. Okay, so now I'm going to be able to add a little bit more liquid in this pot for the vegetarian style, which will be great. And I think I'm going to add a little more of our white beans. I think I left my scissors out here. me see what this one looks like and what we have here. I think too, I'm going to add a little bit more of the beans in here. That's a lot of chicken, but that's going to cook down. So I'm going to add some more of the white beans in this one too. And this is it. That's it for the recipe. So if you hang tight, we'll be pulling the winner for the last 2 weeks. People have 2 weeks to be able to enter their name into the drawing. So that's fantastic. I'm very excited. Our last winner was Eileen Miller, who is a gal that I went to school with. I went to grade school with her. And she's now on my health and wellness team. So I just love it. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more broth there, and we're good to go. All right, perfect. So what you want to do is get your lids ready. Take these spoons out. And you want to make sure that you have your setting so that it is where the vent is off. So the vent can go either left or it can go right. And I want to make sure it's in the off position. And I will secure it, locking it into place. And same one with this one. And secure it. It's locked into place. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pick manual. You do have on your pressure cookers something, a device called chili, but because I have the beans that are not yet cooked, I'm going to go ahead and cook them for 10 extra minutes. So the chili usually is a 30-minute time frame on most of the pressure cookers. And so what we're going to do is we're going to just do it manual. So let me get to the pressure cook. Hit that. And then I'm going to set my time for 40 minutes. Okay, and this one the same thing. So pressure cook, and I need to get that up to 40 minutes. There we go. And that's it. That's all you have to do. So let me go ahead and show you what's been cooking in the crock pot. I forgot to do that the last show. And people were like, "Ooh, that was a great recipe, but how did you do it in the crock pot?" And I always post pictures when we plate everything, kind of show you the process as things get prepared. So let me go ahead and show you this. Beautiful chili. Very, very hot. So I'm going to a little bit. So this is just about ready to go. I'm going to very shortly pull these chickens out and shred them. But I'll just kind of lift it up and show it to you. All right. It's very heavy. All right, so since I have it out, I think what I'll do is just set it here, and I'll shred these chickens after we get finished with this show, and go ahead and let it cook for just a little bit longer. This smells just amazing. All right, so that's the end of the show. I still have it drying for that MEALTHY pot, and also, if you look to the right, I'll just show you real quick. Move this up to the side. I will show you just the optional toppings that you can put on. We're going to do some wedges of lime. I'm going to cut up these scallions so that people can actually put these as garnish. I have some cilantro that we're going to put as a side. And we'll do a few extra jalapenos just for those people who like a little spicy, more spicy. And then I have some dairy-free Parmesan, and I also have some dairy-free yogurt. If it's too spicy, it'll cool it down a little bit. I just didn't pull out the yogurt. And then we're going to really slice these up nice and thin. The avocado, it's just a beautiful thing to put into your chili. Just makes it so yummy. And then for those of you who just want to have just a little bit of crusty baguette, I have a little crusty baguette over there that for the people who are coming for dinner that may choose to have that. Okay, so I thank you so much for joining the show, number one. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for following me. If you've missed shows or you want to see whatever we've done before, all of the cooking shows that we've ever done are on my YouTube channel, and that's Lifestyle by Laura J. And we're just so thankful for that YouTube station, so that YouTube channel, so that you can always catch those at Lifestyle by Laura J. And remember, every Wednesday we're live at the grocery store to kind of show you what we're cooking, what's going to be in the recipe, and just follow along. Just hit follow first so that you always get the notifications of when we're coming live, and we'll look forward to seeing you in my kitchen again. Let's go ahead and find out who that winner is to that MEALTHY pot. Okay, so if you hit that share button, I should bring it closer. If you hit the share button, this is the multi-pot that is going to be the giveaway. But if you hit that share button, all you have to do is hit share to your wall, and you'll be entered to win for next week. And so these are all the people who have entered. I'm going to dig down into the hat, kind of mix them around. Good luck for whoever it is. Okay, here we go. I've got one. Got one in my hand. Okay. All right. Let's see. Oh my goodness, this is a new viewer. I'm so excited for you. Ralph Foster, congratulations. You're a new person who's just started following me, and I think it was the first show that you were catching last week. But congratulations, Ralph. I'll send you a private message so I can get your address and we can get you all set up on your MEALTHY pot. Congratulations. I'm very excited for you. Okay, everyone, that's the show for this week. Have a beautiful, blessed weekend. A special thought and prayer for all of those people who are just a little bit east of us in the Panhandle area that have had such an incredible, devastating loss. In fact, I have a friend who's got family there. I'm going to post a little bit later tonight so that if you want to help support, if you're watching any of the news reports and you'd like to find a way that you can help, well, I'm going to actually post something so that you can help out some people. All right, everyone, have a very blessed day, blessed weekend. Have a great weekend. Be safe. We'll see you next time.